Yo, what up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of PB&J. I'm up here in Frisco with Brian. Last week we went to PSX, so we're gonna run it down for you. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, how's it going? This is a first time in probably a year where we're actually sitting next to each other, so we can record in the same room, so we can get a better audio quality than usual. So these are pretty rare moments. It's just too bad that Jesse's not here. He's back at home in LA. So
yeah, he's doing schoolwork or something. couldn't jump on, but that's all right. He'll be on for the next one when we go over Star Wars, which we saw today. Jesse saw it yesterday, but he didn't go to PSX last week anyway, so we did. So we're gonna go over with it for you. What do you think? What was your favorite thing about it, Brian? With that for the whole weekend?
For me, it was still like I make a game out of collecting those collectible cards. But I like that the convention is it's only for like Sony PlayStation. And they showed off a lot of their exclusive games, and for those games like Spider-Man and God of War, they created these giant booths there, and it seemed like they made the walking space a lot wider too, so it was very easy to walk around, and they moved the panels into the arena at the Anaheim Convention Center, so they took up more space to allow more room, bigger booths. So that was cool. I mean, I think that they kind of learned from last year that it's better to have it more spaced out. Not that it was a bad thing last year. The only thing like this year is that if you want to go to the panels, it's not right there. Where last year we can still kind of hear it, even though we're at a booth. This time it's at the arena, so it's a little bit separated. Even though it's still, you don't have to go outside to go back in. It's all connected, but you wouldn't be able to hear anything or see anything unless you're at the panel itself.
Yeah, last year was cool in that we could be in line for one of the demos, and you can still kind of see the screens. You can still kind of watch the screen. You can still hear them. And yeah, you can just walk right in and sit down. Whereas this one you had to go to the arena, which is another section, but it's not far.
Yeah,
it's right there. It's just you kind of cut yourself off. Yeah, definitely the open space was. I didn't notice it last year, but this year made it way easier to move around and stuff. Even on the other side, me and your brother were talking about how there was so much extra space they could have added another 2 or 3 booths to the side last year where the panels were at. There was just so much room there, right. So that was cool. It just made it moving around easier. You weren't running into anybody, and if you're carrying stuff, you bought stuff, you didn't have to worry about someone knocking into you. So that was definitely cool. And yeah, I guess there was God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, Detroit, and Gran Turismo had huge booths. Like they were freaking humongous. Oh, and the Capcom booth was big too.
Right.
But Capcom had a few games. It had Street Fighter V, Marvel's Capcom,
and Monster Hunter.
There was
a giant dragon.
Giant dragon. Yeah, that was cool. So
Shadow Colossus was pretty big too.
Yeah,
the open area where there was this giant Colossus that you can walk up to and take a picture with.
Yeah, you climb on his head. Yeah, the head was like what 10 feet.
Yeah,
10, 15 feet. So it was cool to have all that extra space. And then the Days Gone booth had a motorcycle you can get on, and a giant bear, like a life-size bear. That was all. I guess in that game it looks like the animals are gonna be infected. And then they had actors dressed up as zombies and scare you and stuff. And you didn't go through the God of War though, huh?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the God of War experience was actually not that great. Me and your brother went through it, and they said, "Oh, you're gonna go in. You're gonna learn a little bit about the sun in the game, and there's gonna be artifacts and stuff." So we're like, "Oh, that's gonna be sick." But when you go in, all it is they put up some paintings on the wall, and then someone read off a script. And then
like an actual person was there reading it?
No. It was recording. Yeah, it was auto recording. It was some Scottish dude. So, and then you would just go to each painting, and then the paintings are great. And then at the end of it, they had the artifacts from the game where you could take pictures and
Okay.
stuff. So, but afterwards, though, me and your brother were like, "Nah, that really wasn't worth the wait."
Yeah, I saw it from the outside. They built this 20-foot tall like rectangular building,
Yeah,
and you can see it from the outside. Like they have a it looked like story time. Like it's like a Disneyland ride, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
those
yeah.
kiddie
Yeah.
like storybook rides. Where I mean, I just saw the outside of it.
Yeah, and it was
So
carved real nice. It had
yeah,
like Norse runes carved into the walls and stuff. Like it was like they really went all out. But then when you actually went in it, it's kind of lame. And then there was the other section where you can go on a boat, or it wasn't a boat. It was just a prop of a boat. You get in there, you can hold Kratos' axe and take a picture. And if you did, they can put makeup on you to look like Kratos. And if you want to go hardcore, you can shave your head like Kratos and get all makeup done. So a lot of people did it. A lot more people than I thought were
yeah,
going to do it. We saw one girl shave her head. She was the first one of the weekend. Her hair was kind of short, but not really. And she said she was down, and they buzzed her head, and that was crazy. Yeah. That was crazy. She was hardcore about it. So, definitely cool. Cool. The boots are really cool this year. Better than last year's. Last year's was more just you just got in line and play the demo. But I think this year with the extra space, they were able to get creative. We'll see next year if maybe they'll have if it's even in Anaheim. Don't know where it's going to be. But having all that extra space, you can get even crazier with the boots. The only thing that was a little weird, and I don't think either of us really liked it, was the app where you had to check in to get to play the demo. So last year, if we wanted to play a VR demo, we were in line for an hour, sometimes two, to play a VR demo, and I guess to cut on that. This year they made an app, and on the app you would check in to whatever game. Let's say Call of Duty. Call of Duty wasn't one of the games, but if Call of Duty had VR, and it'll say check in at 2:00, and you can set an appointment pretty much. Didn't quite work out this year. Why don't you explain it, Brian? How it went down?
So basically, you have to download the PlayStation Experience app, and there's different windows where you can register to make an appointment, like John said. So like if I wanted to play, we were all trying to play Inpatient because that one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where it looked like you're in an insane asylum, and the people who worked at that booth, they're dressed like doctors, and they would wheel you in a wheelchair and then put on a VR headset on you, and you would play the demo. So we tried all weekend. So on Friday night, the first time they opened up the appointments was at 10 p.m. So by the time I looked at it, like at midnight, it was all booked already. So I mean, that wasn't a big deal. I thought, okay, we were late by a couple hours. People would sign up for it. But the next morning, they had another window open at I think 1 or 2 p.m. And we all tried to like just grab anything. First we tried to get into that game, the Inpatient demo. But like as you're clicking on like the time slot, it's getting full already. So it's like you just have to hammer it right away. And like when it was full for that split second, I saw they only took like 6 people for every 20-minute like time slot. So that means and so 6 people. So they probably took like 18 people per hour, times like 10 hours or 12 hours when a convention was open. So that's not a lot of people when it looks like there's like 10,000 people there, and you're only letting in for the whole weekend maybe 500 or so. I mean, I didn't do the math, but roughly around that. So that's a very small percentage. It got to the point where we were just grabbing anything that was open.
Yeah.
So I took the demo for Gran Turismo for the regular game and also for the VR version. I mean, that was the only thing I could get. But if you want to do autographs, you also have to go through the app. Panels, do you have to do that? Not panels,
not panels.
right?
Panels you can walk right in.
But yeah, some of the game demos, like Detroit, they had like 3 different stations, but they're all full immediately, pretty much. And same for Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, it's strange that game is on the app, right? And it booked up pretty quickly too. It's a remake. It's not even a brand. I mean, they remastered it. It looks
great. It looked great, actually.
Yeah.
It looks really good. And I don't even know if maybe because Brian's phone was iOS, mine was Android, but I couldn't even open that.
Yeah.
It'll go like it'll say 1 o'clock, so we go 1 o'clock, and I'll click on it, and mine wouldn't even open. And by the time mine did open, Brian's was already like, oh, it's all full.
Yeah.
So I was way too late.
Right.
So I didn't get signed up for anything. Not a big deal. I mean, there was so much stuff. There was other demos we could go play, and there was other stuff to see. The panels were cool. That it wasn't the end of the world, but I did want to play that like Impatient. Um, it just looked really cool. And then like last year, it's almost like last year. If it was even if it was a 2 hour wait, I still chose to wait. Like
Yeah.
I was cool with it. I was sit and wait. Whereas in this one, I didn't even get a chance to sit and wait. Like I was like, well, I guess I just have to do other things. So I'd rather get a genetic like I know it's gonna take me a long time. I don't care. I'm there anyway. So I don't know if the app's gonna stick around or not. I don't know. I didn't really look in to see if it was a trial run or if that's how the way I want to go from now on. I don't know if people were complaining. I have no clue. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be back next year. I'd rather just be like last year, where let me go and stand in line for a long time. I mean, I didn't care. There was beer there last year, so we were in line a couple of times. I was just leave the line, grab a beer, come back, and it was okay.
Mhm.
I didn't really mind.
Yeah, and the thing this year is that they would cap the line too. So even
Yeah,
there's times where for those games where you want to play where you don't need to sign up for, you just stand in line. Um, Half the time we were told to come back in X amount of time, just because the line was starting to get too long. And in reality, it wasn't that long.
no,
It probably covered like half of that booth. Um, and they would just have someone stand there with a sign and say the line's capped, come back in like half an hour or whatever it is. It made everything it somehow made it look like there's less people at PSX because of that. I guess because everyone's more scattered. They're not all standing in line. I mean, there's good and bad things about that. Good thing is like when they do open it, you get in line, you don't have to wait more than an hour. They usually cap it around like at the 1 hour mark, it seems like. And then the other thing, going back to like just all these lines and everything, these VR demos. So I got into Farpoint, and that demo, they was telling me that it's like a half-hour demo, and you have these really small time slots where you can only fit like so little people in, but you have a demo that's so long. So, I was talking to like Connie about this, like, how should they balance this? Like, should they get
yeah,
VR to as many people as possible, or for those people who do get in, you want them to be immersed in it so that they want it, So like that's kind of hard to juggle, right? Like,
yeah,
you want volume, or do you want like just to have someone spend time to like just experience the VR and get into it, so that you can convert them into a purchase. But if you're only like appealing to a few hundred people, I don't know how, like, what the balance is and where it would stick,
yeah,
So
yeah. Last year the demos they weren't that long. Like, well, I guess because some of the demos were like airplane battles, right? So
yeah.
there's like you go through one battle and that was it. So I mean that was cool. That was fine.
Yeah, even the Star Wars one, the Battlefront, like that was probably like a 10-minute demo or something.
Right.
And then they got to wipe down the VR headset, and then they got to get someone situated, they got to put on the headset.
Yeah.
Right? Like all that takes time, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that was for a 10-minute demo. So imagine doing all that plus a half-hour demo. So I think that kind of hindered like getting a lot of people through to experience it. But I see the good side about it too. You get people to spend more time with it. So
Yeah, and then people who didn't sign up, we knew, okay, well, I'm not getting VR, so I can go do something else.
Right.
You're not just standing there forever. That's been a problem at Comic-Con for years. Is the lines are getting so long.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out a way to let people know, hey, you're not going to get this panel. You're not going to get this. So, do something else. And they brought in the wristband system for Hall H, and it's all still wonky. So, well, at least it's something a con at this size that's not that not that big. I don't know the attendance numbers or anything, but it's nowhere near as big as like a Comic-Con.
right.
Doing this thing with the app, at least people can tell, okay, well, I can't do VR, so we can go play other stuff.
Yeah, but do you want it to be everything through the app? Like let's say Comic Con did something like that, right?
Oh,
Like
man,
you can't go to a panel
yeah,
unless you go through that app,
man,
right?
that the app wouldn't be able to handle it. 100,000 people jumping on it,
Right.
at one point. But all in all, though, it was good. It was fun. I like the PSX. I liked it. This is only my second time going. Brian's been there 4 times. Uh, but I like last year's. I like this year's. A lot of fun. And then it's close to home for me, so I just drive down the street and check it out. And we were there pretty late Saturday. We were there till like 10 or 11.
Yeah, it
They
was
left
like
it
from 10
open.
to 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they let it open a long time, so that was cool. And then this year Sunday, I think we stayed till about 5, which I think that's when it closed. I think they were closing down, and then they let the Capcom Cup go. I think till 6. But this year we didn't really watch the finals of the Capcom Cup because they had a raffle. Far Cry had a raffle for a free PS4 Pro. Both days, right, at 5 o'clock. Yeah. So on Sunday we were watching the Capcom Cup for a little bit, and then we all went back to the booth, the Far Cry booth, hoping that we one of us would win the raffle for a free PS4 Pro. Didn't happen though. Some other kid won it. Little punk ass kid. But even that was cool. The Far Cry. We got to play the demo for that game, and that was pretty cool. It's I haven't played too much of Far Cry. You've only played a little bit, right?
Very little.
Yeah.
I have 4. I just played like the first hour and I stopped playing. But
Yeah.
all the Ubisoft games are all very similar. So you play one, you pretty much played by playing Far Cry 5 demo. You essentially touched a little bit of War Dogs, Watch Dogs 2,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed. What else did they have? Like
Division.
Yeah. Pretty much there's a little of everything in there. So, and it's a good thing, like they use a lot of the similar systems. So when you get into the game, it's very easy to get the hang of it. So with this one, like the demo that I played, you go into this town and you can drive a big rig truck. You can take over a small town. You can get help from I picked a dog, but you can have like 3 different assistants to help you.
And that was funny too because everyone thought we could play as a dog,
right?
And then we got in, and they're like, "No, he's your backup." Like, what? They're just you can have. I picked the guy, the bomber.
Okay.
He come in and drop bombs from his airplane. Yeah. So the big we talked about earlier. There was 5 big games. God of War, Days Gone, Spider-Man, Detroit, Gran Turismo, and on Friday on their little mini keynote, we were kind of curious about what are they going to show in that little keynote. That was we talked about it before about the little controversial there, but the move they pulled about waiting till the last second to tell you that there was going to be no big keynote Saturday. It was going to be a mini one on Friday. We're looking at the keynote right now. What they announced, nothing huge, which we expected. We didn't really expect big earth-shattering news. They just showed some gameplay from Dreams and God of War. Detroit, they played a demo, and they're finally saying that you might be able to change your name next year, your PSN account name, which is something that the fans have wanted for a long time. Those guys who made really immature names when they were kids and now adults wanted, right. They put like 420 Master, and now they're grown up with a job and they're like, oh, I can't really give up their screen name. Finally, they're gonna change it. Looks like Soul Calibur 6, Mega Man's gonna be part of Monster Hunter. Some PSVR stuff. Medieval is back. We were talking about before. Neither of us have played Medieval in the old game, so we're not really sure how that's gonna work. Looks like they interview with Hideo Kojima talking about Death Stranding.
You watched the trailer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like Games Award.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about this last week, but the Games Awards was last Thursday, and Death Stranding, which no one knows anything about. All we know that it's created by Hideo Kojima, starring Norman Reedus, and Guillermo del Toro has a little cameo in there. They played. What was it? How long was it? It
It
was
was about 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
So.
Yeah, it was an 8 minute demo, or not a demo. It was just a trailer, a story trailer. And I still don't know what the hell is going on. It's like a world where there's like invisible monsters are after you, and you're playing as Norman Reedus' character, and there's another character who has a baby, and he's carrying the baby, and then I don't know if he dies, and you take the baby, and then somehow you swallow it, and it ends up inside. I don't know. It was pretty crazy. It looks crazy yet awesome at the same time. And then they let out a little bit of story that, or not story, but part of the game, in that when you die, you don't really die. You go to another world, and they showed that in that little trailer where Norman Reedus' character, they get attacked, and he ends up like underwater,
Right.
and then I guess as you're playing it, you're underwater, and you can collect all your items, whatever you have, you can recollect them, and then you can come back out, and you reemerge into the real world or the live world, and you keep going. The game keeps going.
It seems like time's pass too when you do that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that happens every single time you die in the game. It's an action game, right? I was assuming. So how would that work? I mean, I'm assuming it has to be certain points in the game where you have to die,
Right,
to progress the story. But I can't imagine that happening every single time you die. Like that wouldn't be too fun anyway, right? It's sort of like Bloodborne, where you die, like you have to go back and collect all your stuff again. I mean, I don't know. I'm not that into that kind of stuff. I'd rather just restart at a checkpoint and just continue.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this works.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Kojima. I'm a big Metal Gear fan, so bummed out that that whole thing with him and Konami last year, him leaving, and pretty much for me that ends the Metal Gear franchise. Even though Konami still has it and they're still gonna make games, I'm not gonna play them.
You're not gonna check out that Survive game?
No. Let's see, what else do they have? Some more PSVR or Knockout League, Concrete Genie. I'm not sure what that is. Blaze Blue.
Yeah, it's a fighter.
Another underwater adventure for PSVR, Jupiter and Mars. I'm not sure what that is. Donut County, the adventure game. Tower 57. It's like a retro 8-bit shooter. Moonlighter, action RPG. I don't know anything about these. Rick and Morty. They had this booth at PSX. VR experience with Rick and Morty. I don't watch the show, so I didn't check it out. Mulaka 3D adventure game. Fantasy Strike, another fighter. Looks like an old school. Looks like King of Fighters or something, like old Neo Geo fighter.
Yeah.
Children of Morta, action RPG. Guns of Icarus. Not sure what that is. So they didn't really announce big, huge AAA games. It looks like a lot of indie games on that keynote. Probably a smart thing to do. I think a lot of people would be upset if they announce a huge AAA game on that keynote that no one was able to go to.
Yeah, and they also it's not just Sony, but like a lot of new stuff for Nintendo and for Xbox were shown during the Games Award. So I don't know if that show, like moving forward, is going to be the place where they start to announce stuff, right? And they've also already announced stuff at Paris Games Week.
Right. That was only a month or two ago.
Right. So that's like two big announcements. So that also brings up the question, like, is there a need to have PSX anymore if you're gonna have E3 in May or June and then have something at the end of the year where you're making big announcements but not at PSX? So I don't know. I mean, like for these like PSX shows, like what do you think they do it for? Is it just to bring the hardcore fans together, or is it more to also use as like to make announcements?
Well, yeah, I mean, this year it was no announcements, right. So it was basically just get the hardcore fans in there.
Yeah.
Give them the chance to play upcoming games a little early, which is cool. I mean, I like that. That's fun. But it was fun last year going to that keynote,
Yeah.
and they dropped some big stuff, right? It was God of War, the Uncharted DLC, which came out just a couple months ago, and then Last of Us 2. They dropped all of those in one keynote, and it was awesome. We were there with I don't know how many thousands of people, and everyone's going crazy. That was a lot of fun. So, I mean, this year still had a lot of fun, so I had a great time, but we were missing it. I remember your brother was even, he was like, "Hey, when's the keynote? When's it start?" And we're like, "Oh no, dude, not this year." He was like, "Ah," he got all bummed out. Um, but because that was always a cool. I mean, for me, the way it was set up last year, right? You had the keynote Saturday, and that kicked everything off, and then from there you did the whole show, and then Capcom Cup was Saturday night, and that was cool, and then Sunday was just to chill, just play everything. This year, like the format was off of the mini keynote Friday. Capcom Cup was moved to Sunday, and that was to finish it off with. Um, but the good thing was that Saturday we listened. We went down the panels last time, but we went and attended the Uncharted and the Last of Us panels, and that was a cool way to finish off the night Saturday. Just to see some. They didn't show anything for Uncharted. Duh, it's over. But it was a 10-year anniversary, and then the cast was there, and they were talking about they're giving behind the scenes stories about Uncharted and how much it ended up being a game changer it was and stuff. Last of Us, they did show some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not really new. That it was just a trailer, right? It was a trailer that came out a little while ago. But what was cool to have the actors there, and then Neil Druckmann, the game director, and then I forgot her name. She's co-writing the story, and it was cool to have them kind of drop a little bit of background of this and that, and people would ask questions, or not people, but the host of the panel, the moderator she would ask them questions, and you'd be able to get some feedback from them. And what was cool is I didn't know this, but the co-writer, she came from Westworld on HBO. I guess Neil Druckmann emailed her specifically and asked if she would be interested in working on the game. She said yes, so that's pretty cool. I love Westworld. Westworld was amazing. So to have someone from that caliber of a show to come in to work on a game is really cool. So I'm excited for Last of Us. I love the first game. I was hooked on it. I played it twice. I played the original game, and then I got the HD remake when they released that on PS4. So I played through it twice. I wanted after seeing that panel, I told Brian I kind of want to play it again because the HD remake came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since I played, so I might not anytime soon. There's a bunch of games coming out we got to get through. So we were talking about that earlier, but maybe next year if there's a lull in between releases and I got some free time, I'll jump back on it.
Yeah, and that panel was pretty cool too. It started with Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, right?
Ashley Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, they sang that song that Ellie sang, I guess, in one of the trailers.
The very first trailer,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the moderator was joking like, that everyone write down all the lyrics and try to decipher, any clues from it. So, but yeah, that was a pretty cool performance. Like it was like pitch dark, and they just had a spotlight on them, and it was dark enough so that you can imagine that it's the characters in the games, performing the song. So yeah, that was.
Yeah, it's funny because we were there. We were sitting there waiting for it to start, and we sat through the Uncharted, so we were just sitting there waiting, and we saw them put the guitars out. Remember, and we're like, "Oh, there's gonna be a live performance. That's cool." And then the lights went off, and then just the spotlight came on, and it was Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson. I didn't think it was gonna be them performing. I thought it was gonna be like the musician, the guy who wrote the song. I thought it was gonna be that guy, but it wasn't. It was them, and they're really good. And during the panel, Ashley Johnson brought up that Troy Baker actually has put out albums, so he's a professional musician. I didn't know that. And he said that she is too, but she doesn't really. I don't think she's. I think he said she didn't put out albums or anything. But
he joked about like how he tries to get everyone to hear his stuff.
Yeah.
He's the opposite.
Yeah. So that was a really cool way to kick off the panel, and then they brought everyone out to talk about it. I don't think the game comes out next year. he said they're about 50-60% done.
Yeah.
Neil Druckmann said they're about 50-60. So that's next year's not going to cut it. They'll probably finish the game next year and then do some polish. So it'll be
What's that? So like summer of 19.
yeah, summer 19. The first game came out like quarter two. I remember it was like March or April it came out, 2013. So maybe something like that, maybe early in the year.
Yeah, that's what, 6 years in between.
But yeah, 5 years. It'd be 5 years. And that 5 years went by. I remember that game like it was yesterday.
Yeah, so at the end of that panel, they said that there will be a new trailer at E3.
Yes.
So they got 6 months before we see something new or hear anything about the game.
I'm wondering if they'll actually show gameplay, because the last two trailers were just story.
You're right.
They were just story, and then so I'm wondering if they actually show gameplay this E3, which probably right if they're already 60% done. That means they got stuff going.
Right.
It was funny too. Whenever they would ask the cast member a question, they would all look at Neil Druckmann like, "Can I answer?" And then he would kind of sit there and think about it, and no, oh, you can't answer that. Oh man, or yeah, a little bit. And he throws something out there. And then Troy Baker threw some shade at EA.
Yeah, made a comment about the loot crates.
Loot crates, yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, there goes my career," or something like that. But they were dropping some. And then Neil Druckmann threw some shade later on too. Not a lot of people are happy with the EA right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just really quickly, just so I lent John the game to check out. He hasn't had a chance to check it out, so we brought it back up, and I just played through the added DLC in one sitting. Right. It probably took a little over an hour.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Not even that. It was probably like barely an hour.
Yeah. If I didn't keep dying like certain points of the game, it would have been a lot quicker. But yeah, I mean, I'll just do a quick overview about on what I think about it, since it's still fresh in my mind. Like that game they just put it together really quickly and just put it out. Like you saw in some parts of the game where I had to do something like defend something, where I'm just in one area for 10 minutes just shooting stuff. Right? They just keep coming in waves, and I'm just doing the same thing over and over. But that's just pretty much how that whole game is. So. But the story, there's some good stuff in there. The story is not perfect, but it kind of leads into the movies a little bit. So there's still something there if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan. So
yeah, we saw the movie today, and then Brian played the next 6. Well, I guess it was a DLC, right?
Yeah.
And this one it linked into the new movie. There's something real small. It's nothing huge. So I was like, oh, hey, that's cool. It linked into the movie a little bit. Like I said, nothing crazy though.
Yeah.
Like, how long is the campaign? You think the full length campaign?
Like 4 to 6 hours. You can do it in 4, so it's not long at all. Yeah, and there's parts of the game where you're playing as other characters, which is nice in a way, but the story should have stayed more focused on the main character. But they didn't do that. So, when you play it, you'll see.
Yeah, kind of. I know it's kind of disappointing because the first Battlefront they rushed it because they wanted to get it out the same time as Force Awakens. So in order to do that, they cut the campaign mode, and everyone was like, "Hey, we need a campaign." And I got the first Battlefront, and looks great, sounds great. Graphics are great. You're playing it, but you play for a little bit and you're like, oh, there's nothing here. There's just multiplayer.
Right.
So for this one, they were like, okay, we're gonna put it back in the campaign. They're gonna put it back in everyone's campaign, put it back in, and it's like 4 to 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, this isn't. Come on, guys, this is not enough. So I know it probably sold a lot because it's Star Wars. I'm guessing. But the reviews on it weren't too hot. I think IGN gave it like a 6.5 or something. And then a few people who I do know played it said it's only okay. So
yeah, it's okay. I would give it the same score too. I mean, if they didn't put the Star Wars name and character in front of it, like the game would be a lot worse. So out of all the games like next year, which one are you looking forward to?
Yeah, well, I'm a big God of War fan, and then I want to see how they do it this year. Is because they're gonna change it up. They're before they had like a preset camera, and it would change depending on the level you're on. It'll go overhead or go behind you or zoom way out or zoom way in. And this time it's going to the more traditional over the shoulder camera. So I'm interested to see how that is, how that changes the dynamics, but also the story. Like they're going away from the Greek gods and more going towards the Norse gods because he killed all the Greek gods.
Mm-hmm.
So and then he has a son. That's interesting dynamic. You have the baddest dude around in Kratos. Now he's cared for his son. Where's the mother at? I'm assuming she died. She's dead, and I don't see her at all. So really looking forward to that. Spider-Man looks great. They showed a lot of that at E3. At their booth, they didn't have a demo to play, but they were replaying the footage, and that looks really cool. Spider-Man looks the way he's going through the city and stuff. He looks like Spider-Man, and the way he fights, it looks like right out of the comics and stuff.
Yeah, that one part in the demo clip that they showed, there's a helicopter and he destroys it, and he's like doing a lot of these things to keep it from hitting the people down, down on the ground level. So he'll spin like a giant web to catch the helicopter, and then the blade that got broken off, he would do another thing where to catch it, and and they're all different ways, like very creative, that I've never seen in a video game. So even the parts where he was sneaking around in the construction, the Fisk construction area,
Yeah,
like he would sneak up behind them and then like shoot a web and then just like wind them up like like into like a cocoon to kind of to stop them. And yeah, so that looks really cool. And then he has like these really cool fighting mechanics, where he combines like punching and kicking as well as like web shooting, and it looks like you can use part of the environment.
yeah,
too,
yeah.
so.
They saw they saw where he you can sneak up on a guy and web him against the wall, and the guy's stuck. There's nothing he can do, stuff like that. So yeah, that looks really cool. Uh, uh, Detroit, I don't really know because it's the same guys. Do you know what they're? Is it Quantum Break? Is that what they're?
That's like I think that's the
No,
name of the game.
that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the developer, but they made two games for PlayStation 3. Heavy Rain, which was really good.
Mhm.
Liked Heavy Rain a lot. And they did Beyond, which was only okay. So for Detroit, I'm kind of like in the middle. Like, is it going to be like Heavy Rain or is it going to be like Beyond? So I'm kind of wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
I'll see how the reviews come out. And, if they're good, then yeah, I'll play it because I really liked Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain was really good. Beyond, though, even though it had Ellen Page in it, so it had like a big name actress and everything, it just didn't quite capture the. I think because it didn't seem like the decisions mattered as much at Heavy Rain. Like Heavy Rain, you can you get two people have different playthroughs and they'll be completely different.
Right.
Whereas with Beyond, it kind of you kind of look like everyone's was the same. So we'll see about that. Gran Turismo, I'm not a racing guy, so game looks amazing, the graphics and everything, but I haven't played it since the first one. It's like PS1, so not really looking forward to that one. Days Gone. I'm excited for that one. It looks the gameplay and stuff they showed looked really good. But they didn't really say anything about the story yet, so I don't know what the heck's going on. It looks post-apocalyptic, zombies everywhere, but it looks like there's a society or something because you're like a messenger or delivery or something. You're on a motorcycle and stuff. But another game that I'm really, really looking forward to. So to put them in order, I would say God of War, Spider-Man, and then Red Dead Redemption, which wasn't at the Sony. It's not a Sony exclusive. It's a Rockstar. It should have come out this year. Didn't, got pushed back. I don't know if they said quarter 1 or quarter 2 next year, but really looking forward to Red Dead Redemption. I love the first game. I played. Well, Brian let me borrow it, and I played as much as I could, and then I was like, I can give this a game back. It's not mine. So once I finished the story, I gave it back. But I could have kept going. I could have done a lot more side quests on that game. Loved that game. So that one, even though it wasn't at PSX, I got to put that one up there on my most anticipated games. So I'll say those three. I would say God of War, Spider Man, and then Red Dead Redemption are my the big ones for me anyway. I'm kind of hoping they don't release them all, like
Right.
like all of them like in May.
Yeah.
You know, it's like oh man, it's gonna if they can spread it out. That'd be cool. Give me some time to breathe.
Yeah, it's gonna conflict with all the movies that are coming out. Too.
Yeah. Which one did you like, Brian? As you said at PSX.
Um, yeah, I think I would put God of War first, and then actually I take that back. I would put Spider Man first, and then God of War. Um, yeah, Detroit looks good. Like visually, looks really good.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And I thought their booth was pretty cool. Like they had the androids on display. I mean, they're real people.
Yeah, the actors
who were in full character. You know, someone talked to one of them, and they responded like a robot. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and the way they would turn and talk to you was all robotic.
The way they walk and everything.
Yeah, and it was really cool. Like they went all out for that booth.
Yeah. But yeah, that one's more like a wait and see type of game. But I think if the reviews turn out to be a little disappointing, I think I will still check it out, but at a later time,
right?
When it gets discounted a little
discounted bit. Big sale or something. Yeah.
Yeah. What else is there? Like Dreams, I'm not that into it. I'm not a creator. Like it looks like there's a bunch of tools in there where you can create music and a bunch of these different types of levels. But you don't have to be a creator. You can just play through like what other people create. But like with Little Big Planet, I played a little of it, and after one or two levels, you kind of get a feel of what it is, and that's it. Like I would just move on. Plus, there's as long as people is creating, that game can go on forever. And like for me, when I play games, I need to feel like there's an end point. So yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I'm the same
looks
way.
good.
Yeah, I need a story.
Yeah,
I need a story. That's why I'm not really into MMOs.
Right, or fighting games. Like you're in the same place. You're doing the same thing over and over. So that, yeah. So I would put Spider-Man, God of War, and I still need to play the first Red Dead. I lent you the game and I owned
years
the game,
ago.
But
that was like 6-7 years ago, man.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
But it's never too late, right? I just need to find time to play.
Yeah.
So I started a little bit of the game, but I just need to go back in and spend more time in it.
I remember you let me borrow that one and LA Noire the same time, and I played both back to back, and both games are awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is some good stuff right here. I mean, Rockstar, right? Both of them. Rockstar knows, they really can't do any wrong. I'm kind of bummed that LA Noire kind of died out. There were some issues with the publisher. It was like, right, it was an Australian company.
Right.
And that Rockstar had a problem with that developer, and there was some behind the scenes stuff, and they cut them off from they were Rockstar affiliated, and they're not anymore, and it was a weird mess. And LA Noire kind of just went away. I know that there's some VR. They just came out with some VR missions, but I don't know if there would be a sequel, which sucks. I liked LA Noire. It was a cool setting. It was like
it was like 20s LA.
Hollywood. It was old Hollywood. It was like when Hollywood was just getting started.
Yeah.
And it was old LA, and they had the old cars, and you're driving around LA, and you see all the landmarks and stuff way back then. And it was a detective game, so you had to, go in and you interrogate people, and you had to go off their facial expressions and stuff, and try to get them. And then there was a lot of action. It was just a good game. I'm just bummed that there's no more of those. But GTA is still great, and then Red Dead Redemption is coming, so probably not Rockstar is probably not worried about it. I read they're still making a ton of money off of GTA 5, and that game came out 4 years ago now, and they're still coming out with new levels and expansions online, so they don't care. Yeah, Dreams, same thing. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. If it's one of those play other people's levels, I don't really care. And then Monster Hunter World, never got into those ones back in the day. I remember that game though was huge. I forgot which one it was. If it was 3, but I remember when I was in school, when I was in college, kids would play that in between classes. Like some kids would bring their PlayStation, hook up to the TVs, and they loved it. They were all about the game. Like they were playing as much as possible. So It's got a fan base out there. People like it. Like I said, I didn't really care for it. Um, I don't remember too much. I think that's all the well. And then they had Call of Duty and they had Far Cry. Um, Far Cry. We played the demo. Looked cool. Maybe you check that one out. I'll probably end up checking out Call of Duty. This World War II one. I know this is considered. That a lot of people like this one.
Yeah.
Of the more recent ones. The more recent ones are getting kind of when they go into the futuristic stuff.
Right.
It was just like
It's getting too arcadey.
Yeah, I got really arcadey.
Yeah.
I had Advanced Warfare, and that one had like the mech suits.
Mhm.
Yeah, like the mech suits, or I want to say mech. They're like exoskeleton suits. It wasn't quite mech. And I was like, okay, this is all right. Still fun, but
Was that the Kevin Spacey one?
the Kevin Spacey one,
Okay.
yeah.
So did you play the Kit Harington one?
No, I didn't.
He's the
yeah.
villain. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't play the Jon Snow. That was Infinite Warfare,
Yeah.
and that one I was like, okay, this is it's way in the future now, and I was like, I don't want to play this. This isn't Modern Warfare, or it was Modern Warfare. It wasn't Call of Duty style. So this year they went back to World War II, and I played Battlefield 1 last year, and they went to World War I style, and that was cool to go back to that type of gameplay, but. That game was freaking hard, man.
Yeah.
Battlefield is hard.
Yeah.
We joke, you jump on the multiplayer and you're just dead instantly.
Mhm.
Spawn dead. But even the campaign is really hard. Like it's hard to get through those games. They're more realistic, I say, in quotes. Like than Call of Duty. Call of Duty is more arcadey, but Call of Duty, like there's a lot of really cool levels and stuff. Still one of my favorite levels. I think it was Black Ops 2 when you're in the Staples Center and like it's like they're bombing it and it's falling apart and you're running through the Staples Center. That was really cool. I still remember that level. That was freaking awesome. I think the Black Ops series is gone now, right? I think that was it.
Well, so this new World War II game is made by Sledgehammer.
Are they
I think. Yeah, I forget. It's Sledgehammer, and then there's like Treyarch.
And Treyarch, yeah.
So Treyarch does the Infinite, whatever it is.
Yeah. Right? So I guess World War II. I guess this is it then. I guess I think they were the Black Ops.
And then there's
guys.
Infinity Ward.
Infinity Ward. That's right.
So there's three studios.
Okay. I don't know. You know what? Infinity Ward was doing the Black Ops, and Treyarch I think was doing, or was it the other way around?
I don't know. Yeah, I think Infinity Ward did the Infinite Warfare.
Okay, so, and then Treyarch did the Black Ops. So so they brought in a new studio to go to World War II. That's cool. That's cool. I like the World War II stuff. I was missing the old school, the carbine. Yeah, I love the carbine. So
yeah, and this one it's like Band of Brothers. Like you're with like 3 or 4 other guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so the story's not bad. It's still a pretty short game. It's like 8 to 10 hours long, but you get more story out of it. So it's cool. I think you'll like it.
Cool. And then the Horizon DLC dropped, so I gotta get through that first. So there's a lot of games coming. And then Resident Evil 7 dropped Not a Hero DLC last week. And it's free. That's the best part. It's a free game, so I just downloaded that. I'll probably actually play through that because I'm pretty sure that's going to be shorter than Horizon. Horizon's probably going to give me another 15, 20 hours. So that's well, I'll do Battlefront, get that 4 or 6 hours out the way. Not a Hero, and then Horizon probably take me to the new year, and then probably longer than that. And then we'll see when those big PS4 games are announced. We'll see when they come out. See what I got to get. Anything coming out for the Xbox, Brian? You got
yeah, they got a long list. I can't even think of which one. But yeah, you were talking about like your roommate bought one, right?
Yeah, he did. Right, like the week or two after it came out.
Okay.
And yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot playing for it. He's still playing Destiny 2. I told him about all the stuff on PlayStation, and he said that he really didn't have anything on his radar for the Xbox.
Tell him to get Cuphead. That's good. Yeah. Put that 4K, the teraflops, put it to use.
Put it to use, man. It's so powerful. It's double the power of my PlayStation that's playing Destiny 2. Yeah, then I was like, just because, and he was like, oh, okay, PlayStation PlayStation convention. What's that about?" And I was like, "Hey, don't be jealous because Microsoft can't have one. There's nothing for Xbox. You can't go and hang out and have fun with your friends."
They do have PUBG though, but I'm not into that game. So.
Yeah, that's just the online shooter, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of like Overwatch.
Yeah, it's like a huge like survival. It's not survival, but it's like 40 on 40.
Right.
Huge maps, and yeah, you can grab stuff, and yeah, I mean it's really popular. Just I've never gotten into it.
Yeah, I'm not a big multiplayer guy.
Yeah.
I like a story style. Like the most multiplayer I was more into was like um, Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3. I played a lot online, and then the old school Battlefield or the old school Battlefront, the old Star Wars from the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's pretty much about it. Like I never really got into Halo Online or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the Halo games because I like the campaigns, but I'm just not a big multiplayer guy. So I know Xbox kind of is going to be steering that way in the future. So not a whole lot for me there. It looks like PlayStation, and the Switch are going to be. That's where you want to find those games. And you still haven't jumped on Zelda yet, huh?
No, I just finished Assassin's Creed Origins, so I'm one step closer to starting Zelda. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian's just worried that once he jumps on, that's it.
Yeah,
he's just gonna disappear.
Yeah,
we'll never see him. Well, we'll see him again eventually. We just don't know when. But yeah, I don't know. You got anything else about you want to throw in about PSX?
No, I mean I think we covered everything. So I still enjoy it. I hope they continue this.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I hope they. I mean, for selfish reasons,
right.
I hope they keep it in Anaheim.
Yeah, I don't mind if they bring it back to San Francisco, like just 1 year.
Yeah, I'll have to come and visit. But it's a lot of fun if you guys are PlayStation fans or even just game fans, because there's a lot of you can play a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of indie games that were there that I didn't stop at many of them, but there's a lot of games you can check out and play. That Saturday, I mean, if you're really hardcore about it, you could have played games from 10 o'clock. I think they closed at 11 that night, so you could have gone all day playing games if you wanted to. The VR stuff, with the app, and I didn't care for that. Maybe they'll keep it, maybe they won't. I'd rather they get rid of it. You know, if I want to stand in line for 2 hours, let me do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it. But a lot of fun. If you're in the area, you like playing games, check out PSX. We'll throw out some updates. Probably it's gonna be a while. I think this last year, I think it was June or July, right, when they announced that I was back in Anaheim.
Yeah.
So probably not gonna hear anything for a long time. Definitely worth checking out though. It's not that expensive, and it's cool. It's in Anaheim. A lot of stuff in Anaheim. You can check out Disneyland and whatever.
So some people, they either got in a day or two early or after, and they would just go to Disneyland because it's like right across the street.
Yeah.
And it's usually in December, so if you're a Disney fan, then it's all Christmas themed, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
So.
It's really worth it. So check it out. We'll let you guys know when we find out more about it. So until then, we'll hit you guys back up with our next episode. Hopefully Jesse's not doing any homework and talk about some Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, so tomorrow John and I were heading to the Niners game, so just really quick on the whole Niners thing, looking good right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to check out our new quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. He came in, he started 2 games, we won 2 straight, so hopefully he can just keep it going. And I was actually kind of dreading this game a little. I was like, man, we're gonna get killed. We suck so bad.
Yeah, you were planning to come here like before the season started.
Yeah, before the
right?
season, I already had this game circled, so I was like, well, it's too late. I gotta go. And then we got Jimmy, so now I'm excited. We might be able to win it, and that'll be the first game I've seen them win in about 3 years. So
same for me. I'm a season ticket holder.
So I mean, we'll see. They could still lose, but I mean, even if we do, hopefully we just put up a good fight.
Yeah,
and just not get stomped out like last year. Yeah, that'll be our day tomorrow. So yeah, guys, we'll see you next time, and take care. Later.